Good evening and welcome to Live at 5 with me, Raj Joshi. Well, what a week we've had. I hope everyone has survived the terrible storms of the decade that we've all had here in Perth. But on the good side, there's been some amazing rainbows, double rainbows pop up this week in and around the city. And we've had some great footage from some of our members, including pictures from the Claysbrook Cove area, which has shown some spectacular shots, which I'm sure Anne-Marie can vouch for. So welcome to the show today. And again, our guest today is Anne-Marie from the East Perth Community Group as a chairperson. But I'm going to go through a little bit more about what the East Perth Community Group is before we start. And then I'll welcome Anne-Marie onto the screen. So who are the East Perth Community Group? You're probably wondering. So the East Perth Community Group role is a non-profit organisation, and it is managed completely by residents on a volunteer basis. It was founded in 2004, and it has a really strong partnership with the City of Perth, the WA Police, and the Government of Western Australia. We have members that range from all the way like within Australia to the UK, Canada, Chile, Israel, Finland. And it's a real testament to the group and the community that it creates for the people that have lived here at some point, but still want to keep connected with the area. So it's a really nice thing to know that people are still interested in what's happening where they lived once. What are the objectives of the East Perth Community Group, you might be wondering. So obviously everything centres and the heart is around the community, but it's just to promote a good spirit and a good feeling for people who have concerns and interests in the area. Safety is a really important thing for the community group, so liaising with relevant government agencies in relation to maintaining the community spirit, the safety and the security of our residents. We promote businesses, connecting residents with the local businesses and making sure that it works for everybody. And resources and infrastructure, the community group have a really big part to play in workout groups when suggestions are made about new infrastructure within East Perth. So if you are interested in your area and you want to know what's happening and be a part of that change and have suggestions and ideas and put them forward, the group is a great platform to use for that. And first and foremost, and the last one I've got on my list, is communication. It's all about this social media. It's about committee meetings. It's about social events that we hold, brass on the grass, and all these types of things that connect people and make people a part of that community and belong to each other. So that's the purpose of this group, and I hope that everybody who is listening and is a part of it obviously has that same motto for why they were a part of it. So again, I'd like to welcome Anne-Marie. So welcome to the group. Anne-Marie is the East Perth Community Group chairperson. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Raj. It's great to be here. And thank you too for all your work on Live at 5. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, we had no idea that there'd be an audience of well over 1,000 for a live broadcast about the news and views of the East Perth community. So congratulations to you. And I can see Jim Neely's tuning in as well. Jim's a committee member and a past chair of the East Perth Community Group as well. So
excellent. Welcome to the show. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about obviously East Perth, but first and foremost, I love these icebreakers because it really allows the audience to get a little bit more of a feel as to who we're talking to and what kind of things they enjoy. So I'm sure you know the rules by now. You've got about 2 minutes, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And if you answer them as truthfully and as honestly as you can, and if I can just get my clock on, I will get that timer set. Right. Are you ready, Anne-Marie?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Go.
Excellent. Here goes. So what's your best movie?
Shawshank Redemption, for sure.
Excellent choice. What's your most used emoji?
Well, I think the 2 hands generally for hooray, good job, and also thank you.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Your namaste.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly.
What's your best karaoke song, Anne-Marie?
Delta Dawn. Would you like a little bit?
Oh, yes.
Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? I'll stop there because it's not going
Excellent. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were young? What did you want to be?
I really wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So then I turned left where I might have turned right to become a doctor, and here I am.
Excellent. What's your preference, coffee or tea?
Definitely coffee, an extra shot on all occasions. Oh, actually, although I do like tea at night with a teaspoon of honey, black with a teaspoon of honey.
Nice. And are you a glass half full or a glass half empty person?
Definitely a glass half full.
Brilliant. What's the best city that you've ever visited to date?
Well, outside Australia, that would be Vienna in Austria. It's a beautiful city, a lot of history and living history too, where it's possible to hear the Vienna Boys Choir sing in a chapel and attend Italian opera in a beautiful opera house and enjoy schnitzel and potato salad in a restaurant that only serves schnitzel and potato salad called Fiegelmuller's, just in case you're there soon.
Oh, and there we go. That's our time up. So you did really well. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Now we all know a little bit more about Anne-Marie.
We do.
Right, let's continue. So we've got a few questions that a few of the members have contacted us this week and they wanted to ask. So I'm going to run through a few of them, but if you do have anything that you wish to ask while you're online today, please feel free and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Ask as many as I can, should I say. So the first one is, when did you actually join the East Perth Community Group, Anne-Marie, and why did you join?
About 3 years ago, a committee member said, "Why come and be involved?" My husband, Chris, was literally the first resident in the Claysbrook Village area, and we'd not really had a lot of involvement over time. We were bringing up kids and toddlers and busy working, and Lynn Schwann, who's currently the vice chair, said, "Why don't you come and get involved? We need to do some more events and marketing and come and give it a go." And here I am 3 years later.
Fantastic. And what would you say has been your biggest achievement as chairperson on the board? Like, what do you feel that you've done?
Probably recognising that it's not really about me, that I think, any community group that does well is one that listens to its members. And I think together with the other committee members and active residents like you, we've developed good structures to actually take on board feedback and priorities from residents. And we did that to form a community plan late last year through a series of surveys and workshops. So, I mean, it's not my personal achievement, it's the group's achievement, but that's the thing I'm most proud of, that we considered where we were in the scheme of things and where this group might add most value, and now we're working at 1,000,000 miles an hour to implement that. And so that's been a really exciting and fulfilling process for me.
Lovely, thank you. And what would you like to see more of in the group moving forward?
Well, I think for me, I think the street activation is really important, and we saw the recent city sessions, which you were, of course, involved with, but I think there are parts of the city that have become really active with people throwing frisbees, pushing babies, walking, skateboarding, cycling, drinking coffee. I mean, who would have thought there could be so much coffee drunk in the last 2 months than that has been drunk in East Perth? I mean, it's been fantastic to see so many people out in glorious weather, not just from East Perth, but from elsewhere, getting a sense of how beautiful this destination is. But we've got some more work to do along Terrace Road, Adelaide Terrace, the east end of Hay Street, Royal Street. I think that, the commercial areas in East Perth don't yet have the population base that will use those services, and that's something that the City of Perth's obviously working on, and we're keen to see progress.
Lovely. On Royal Street, who thought of the yellow bike idea, just out of curiosity?
Oh, it's a good question. It may well have been me. It's not like most ideas. It was borrowed from elsewhere. We saw some images of bicycles in Amsterdam, actually, with
Right.
baskets on them. And Matt McVeigh, who is an artist himself and a curator, was advising us on the murals in the East Perth Parklet, and he suggested that we upcycle, no pun intended, bicycles, rather than have lots of different coloured bicycles, that it would be better to have Caterpillar tractor yellow to draw the eye along the street. So that's the purpose, just to add some colour and movement.
Brilliant. Excellent. It was a fantastic idea. It really did bring out all the communities, and it got people talking, which is exactly what you wanted.
I can see cheeky John Nunn there saying that I'm competing with his opera singing friends with my delightful karaoke session. Yeah, I know, I'm a terrible good singer, John. I think everyone needs at least 3 glasses of wine before I can be allowed to sing again on live.
Maybe we should try that next time.
Exactly.
And so in terms of the community group, and with this pandemic that's sort of come in and affected what you would normally do, like your day-to-day runnings, what has actually impacted your group and the group that we have, and the movement that you would normally, the pace that you'd normally be at right now?
Well, it's interesting, Raj. I mean, I think like most, for the first week or two, we really didn't quite know what to do, and we had to gradually wind down the walking group walks, our meetings, events we had planned were all put on hold. And when it became clear that it was going to be weeks or maybe even months or up to 2 years before we'd go back to a new normal. Greetings, Andrew Hawes. He's calling in from the southwest. Hope that you're warm down there, Andrew. Well, we realised that we couldn't just wait and do nothing. And we had some event grant money for what we were calling Cabaret on the Cove, which was to put musicians into restaurants along Claysbrook Cove. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it was a conversation with you, Raj, and Michelle Magoski from Fraser's Property, where we realised that even though we were only 2 weeks into isolation, there had been residents at Queen's Riverside and certainly along Adelaide Terrace and Terrace Road in apartment buildings for up to 6 weeks. So while we were just starting as a community, those at risk had already been in isolation and were literally not leaving the house. And that's really where we segued from performers going into restaurants and cafes that were then closed to being inspired by residents of Italy and Spain who were performing for one another, and all that gorgeous footage, that perhaps there was something we could do to support those residents who we honestly thought would lose their minds if they had to be on their own in isolation for weeks, if not months.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. Yeah, to her husband and 2 children at home in an apartment, not good.
I think it might be a few marriages.
We're all still alive, though. That's the most important. We're all still alive.
Gosh.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about awards and achievements that the group have sort of had. I don't know if many people are aware, but the East Perth Community Group were awarded with the City of Perth's Active Citizenship Award for community service this year on January the 26th at Town Hall Square. And I was wondering if you could talk to the group a little bit more about that and how that all came about, because it was incredible.
Yeah, no, well, it was a great honour. And, you know, again, it was an award for the entire community and those residents who have been extremely active, not just in the last 12 to 18 months, but I think it was recognition that the East Perth Community Group was established in 2004, even before then. And the thing that I think sets this group apart is that those that were involved at that time are still living in the area and still members of and engaged with the community group.
Yeah.
And I think that gives it a completely different dynamic again, because as I said earlier, there's really nothing new under the sun. And I find it really very helpful to speak with past chair people about the experiences that they had, or how that they're viewing the organisation now objectively from the outside. It is, I think that sort of innate succession has really created an effective organisation. So for that, for the group to be recognised in that way on Australia Day was really quite lovely. And it's all about, it is active citizenship. And on Australia Day, with a number of people receiving their citizenship, including your dear family, Rash, I think was really very special. And I felt honoured personally, but, again, on behalf of the East Perth community, I think it was a recognition that there are lots of go-getters here who want to get out and do things.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was incredible. And again, a real well done on that, because it was good. It was really, really good. We're going to talk a little bit more about local businesses now. So obviously with the group, with a lot of people who live and work and own businesses in East Perth, what is a community group doing to support those local businesses during these difficult times we find ourselves upon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, Raj. I mean, one of the most helpful things we have been doing, and that's in my view, is keeping everyone informed about who is open, at what times they're open, what's on the menu, just that very basic stuff. And I think that's really created a sense of camaraderie between residents and business owners. I don't think we've done as well as we could in that area. And I know that, in the future, we hope to expand Live at 5 to include reports and stories on businesses in the area as part of a special community YouTube channel. And, as we discussed off screen, I think that's been one of the real benefits of this period of isolation, that realisation that, pre-COVID-19, we held community meetings once every 2 months, and we got to the point we couldn't find a venue and we were at about 100 attendees. Yet Live at 5, you are attracting over 1,000 video views each week. So it's a different kind of communication. I don't think it replaces the need for us to be connected face to face, but it does open up lots of opportunities for us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for those who, when they do go back to the office and are working full time, it just gives them the option to catch up with what's going on and still be a part of the community, because sometimes they can feel quite removed when they can't physically be there and be at those meetings. So this is a really good medium.
Exactly. And for some people, they're not super social. I mean, for them, the ideal form of, and it's funny for me because I'm a sociable introvert, really, and I enjoy conversations that are one-on-one or one-on-two rather than a cocktail party environment. So I think there are a lot of people like that who don't necessarily, they want to stay in touch with their community, but not necessarily be out with 100 people each time.
Absolutely, but still have some really valuable ideas and things that they want to put forward.
I think Peter LeMay is being cheeky there, asking who's watching Jim Manili. And Tina Rose saying she loves the yellow bikes. Yeah, thanks so much, Tina. And that she'd like to be involved. Join up, please. It's free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Join here on the Facebook page, Tina. You can join up free of charge and be part of the fun.
That's right. And the East Perth local, the website that we've got for businesses, so that is a separate page, isn't it? So if anybody does want to add their details on, that's where they need to go for that.
Yeah, well, the City of Perth has a list of businesses open at the moment, and I'll we'll post those again this evening to make sure that you're registered. We also link to this Facebook page. We have a Facebook group called East Perth Local, and businesses can actually join that group and post directly to residents as they prefer. So when they have a special service or a new dish or a new staff member, something to tell the community, they can do that as part of that group. There's no fee of any kind. So I'd recommend that. Also, as I mentioned, in fact, you, Raj, you as the host of Live at 5 will be visiting businesses and interviewing them about their story and their business offer to post on East Perth Local. Because one thing we do recognise is that business owners are busy doing their business, so running their business, and don't necessarily have time to market themselves. So we plan to do more of that work over the weeks and months ahead.
And it's going to be great. I can't wait.
Now, we've got Modern Picnics would like some jetties in Claysbrook and Muddle Park. Yes, we'd like some jetties there too. I think, as I understand, they are, in fact, they're standing empty. Well, I think I know that the little ferry company does use them, so we'd also love to see the jetties occupied, and we'll get back to you, Naughty Picnics, on what's happening there, because I'm not really sure what's happening with the Muddle Park jetty, or other than that, it has been repaired.
Yeah, we will find out and let you know. Yeah. So we've touched on city sessions and we've discussed that, and we've talked about, I mean, it was a raging success. We had over 25,000 people viewing thereabouts each event that we held. So it was certainly popular within its own right. Can you tell us a little bit more about the what sort of, we know the concept and the idea that you came, that how it all came about and how the idea grew, but can you tell me what we possibly could be looking forward to next from City Sessions and beyond, maybe?
Yes, well, I mean, as part of City Sessions, as you know, we developed a collaboration with Activate Perth and West Perth Local, and that really enabled us to expand the benefit across the city. And instead of running 2 sessions, we were able to run 4 sessions, including Anzac Day, which was really quite gorgeous, with trumpeters and buglers playing the last post at 11 different locations, I think it was, in the end, across the city. So I guess there are a few learnings out of that. I think we're all completely shattered afterwards. It was a reasonably demanding event, but the joy of that event was the live music in the end. And I think what we tapped into was the extraordinary local talent, the musicians, the singers, the performers, who worked a live crowd from, you know, a pool deck or a balcony, and it was really quite moving to be part of that. And I think that comes through in the videos as well of that process. I mean, ranging from opera, the Murphy brothers, acoustic jazz, classical violin, indie pop, rock, you name it. It was performed, and I think it really communicated to people, as music does, I think. Yeah. You know, when people are under stress, music, I think, touches the heart in a way that other mechanisms cannot. And so for many people, I think it was a very moving experience after what, not the community here, but I mean, everyone's going through around the world. So that really sent a message to me that music has a role in our community that we could capitalise on.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's necessarily 10 concerts from balconies once a month or anything, but I think what it is, and we've had some discussions, as you know, post that event, about the idea of more pop-up music. So it might be a jazz trio in Victoria Gardens or Queen's Gardens. On the Esplanade, for example, it would be lovely to see an orchestra just appear there. So some pop-up performances that surprise and delight, really. The other thing we'd like to see is busking circles. Now, this idea came from Di Bain when she went on a visit for the chair of Activate Perth. She went to Las Vegas, and they have circles in which performers can busk without a permit, without a fee. And we'd love to identify a few locations around East Perth where performers could busk for an hour or so, and it might be, outside supermarkets. We tried with a violinist, the gorgeous Ashley Arbuckle, performed on the weekend at Claysbrook Cove, and it really does add a dimension to the area to have someone playing live music. So that's something we're working on at the moment. Yeah, no lack of things to do, Rash.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm looking forward to that, being a part of that too. So we'll talk a little bit more about East Perth. So we've gone from about 1,000 people following the group to just over 2,050 people to date. Yeah. That's a massive increase. What kind of things have allowed this to happen, and how has this sort of really been achieved? Is my question.
Well, I think. Well, let me acknowledge, if I can, a number of members of the community who've participated in our social media activity. Catherine Leeser, who's really cranked up our Instagram presence. Graham McCulloch, Murray-Louise Hunt, Anne-Marie Ferguson, that's me. And gorgeous Jim Maneely. Jim, I hope you're still listening, but Jim, the really funny posts actually are the things that get a lot of reaction and have, particularly during this period of isolation, and Jim Maneely's been responsible for that. So I think it's a team effort, but once again, it's because, too, the community's been very responsive. Yeah. So do let us know, by the way, if you feel like we're spamming you on Facebook, because I think all the rules say you're only supposed to post once a day. But any feedback you have about what appears in your feed, we're absolutely delighted to post less, modify our behaviour, or post different things.
Absolutely.
Now, Jim Maneely's still here, and Murray-Louise is having a lovely time. Good on you, Murray-Louise.
Yeah, now, thank you for that.
Gorgeous Nikki D'Agostino. Oh, no, Nick Doshi. Nick, greetings to you. She's saying, I've seen firsthand how many hours go into these events, so thank you. Share this page on your own Facebook and support the community group. Yeah, good on.
There you go.
So everyone, please do. We're trying to keep up the City Sessions Facebook page. I mean, as Raj knows, about 7% of the viewing audience for those live performances across the city have been overseas. So
it's incredible.
Exactly. Little farmhouses in Ireland.
Germany.
Castles in Germany. That's in my across the world, people are watching, local talents. So one other thing I meant to mention, this idea of plug and play, where there might be, more opportunities for musicians in a park just to be able to plug in their guitar or violin and play and busk. Again, that's, I guess, an extension or related to that busking circles idea.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And last but not least, we're going to just talk very briefly about the terrace precinct. So again, the workshop went really well. We had over 60 people attend the workshop, unfortunately, just before the COVID lockdown took place. So as a result of that, with John Carey, we've not been able to really move too much forward with that at this time. But I know we set up the walking group, and then we had a giant storm that stopped us from walking on Sunday. So that was cancelled. Have you got any dates as to when that's going to restart?
This Sunday, actually, 9 o'clock.
Lovely.
The terrace walking team is leaving Fraser Suites, Perth at 9 o'clock on Sunday. So if you're close to that area, please come and join. The dress code is as it is in Claysbrook Village. That is no fancy pants required, comfortable shoes. We might need a rain jacket on Sunday. We generally walk in the rain, but if it's too dreary, we'll make a group decision and don't tell anyone. We'll just have coffee instead on Sunday. See how we go.
Will there be any restrictions in terms of the number of people potentially? Could that have any impact on Sunday?
Well, yes. I mean, the way we've managed that with the Claysbrook Village group, I mean, we're up to 20 now, so that makes it reasonably easy. I'd have thought it'd be a good problem to have, but we'll just break into 2 groups.
Sure.
Now, here's Michelle Magoski, the fabulous Michelle from Fraser's Australia. Are you going to be there Sunday? She's very excited about the terrace team walkers, but is that converted to action on Sunday?
I hope so.
Oh, yes. Anyway, quite seriously, I mean, we see that as an important foundation for, the terrace precinct area. It's really for residents and business owners in that area to determine what they want their area to be. And we know from the workshop that attendees really saw that an impressive entry statement was important, some activation at the street level, and it's fair to say it can look like the scene of the crime more so than a welcoming entry to our cities. So
absolutely,
there's a lot of room for improvement there. So we look forward to working with that group to bring those ideas to fruition over the weeks and months ahead. Oh, and Janice and John Morrison are going to get themselves out of bed on Sunday and
brilliant.
come on. Look forward to seeing you both there. And thanks too. I mean, one thing that we should mention is that the apartment concierges and residents were key volunteers for city sessions, because at each building there needed to be someone locally to support the artist in terms of them getting in and out safely, to be socially distanced at all times and get access to weird and wonderful locations within the buildings. So
that's right. And a big thanks also to the council owners.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate their support. In many cases, they needed to vote formally on the project at a time when the city, the state and the whole country was closing down. They said, no, we really want to support our residents by doing something uplifting. So thanks to all of them.
Absolutely. And finally, I'd like to say a massive thank you to you, Anne-Marie, for continuing to support and just dedicating so much time to this group and all these other projects that you sort of have your little finger in the pie with and just get things moving. So I just love it. It's great working with you.
Yeah, likewise, Raj.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to join or be a part of like doing stuff and making things happen, please get in contact, and you can be a part of it. And it's a good feeling. It's voluntary, and it's a good feeling that you're doing something good for someone else and yourself. So when do you think the next face-to-face meeting may commence for the East Perth Community Group? Do you guys have any ideas at the moment as a committee?
It's a good question, isn't it? We're not sure is the short answer. We're looking at whether or not when we get to 100 people, which venues we might be able to use,
right.
Whether or not we perhaps at that point have 2 meetings over 2 evenings, or whether indeed we end up having a virtual AGM. They're all things we're considering. And probably most critically, we will proceed with the Lord Mayoral and councillor presentations. One thing we committed to do was ask councillor and Lord Mayoral candidates 10 questions from our community in August this year. So that whilst we may not be able to be face-to-face, we will ensure that that event will definitely happen. So what we have discovered, if it doesn't happen in real life, then there are many and varied virtual opportunities. So could I also do a quick shout out to my fellow committee members, Lynn Schwan, as I've mentioned, Graham McCulloch, our treasurer, Catherine Leeser, Shirley Vine, who is our secretary, Marie-Louise Hunt. Also, I'm forgetting one person. Don't you hate that? That was always... So they really do a lot of work behind the scenes, and I'm not always easy to put up with, as you've probably experienced your heart. But our work's only possible because we're well supported by the City of Perth. As you mentioned, government as well, John Carey, MLA, the member for Perth. Also, the federal government has also been very generous towards our groups. So finally, the members, because it starts and finishes with them. So
absolutely.
I'm speaking right now.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening again. And if you've got any questions or queries after this, please pop them through in the comments, and we'll do our very best to answer them appropriately and in a timely manner. Have a lovely evening and take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Anne-Marie.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.